I ain't trying to say nothing, but there might be a new power structure, a new power three in the Big 12, not just now, but for the foreseeable future.
This is College Sports Insiders. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you can find us here where we're doing your daily football and basketball conversations 7 days a week. Let's go. Welcome to the show.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. This is Troy. We are College Sports Insiders, and if you didn't know, the Big 12 had a wild weekend again. And, since we know more about the Big 12 than anything else, we decided we would talk about a couple subjects on that. We're going to be talking basketball in the third segment. Joe Lenardi had something out. We're going to go over. Troy's going to lead that segment. In segment 2, we're going to talk about the Big 12 football power rankings. Who do we have power rated and where? Where does West Virginia end up? Where does BYU end up? Where does Texas Tech end up? Who knows? And then obviously we're going to start here. Something that I've seen an article on. Can't remember where I read about it, but we live in this new era kind of, Troy, where obviously money's a factor. We know that. Also coaches and how long has your coach been at your school? Well, these schools all have coaches that have kind of been there for a minute, right? And you start to factor in all these things, all these different factors into what makes a quote-unquote power program, like in Oklahoma or Texas used to be when we had the Power 2 in the Big 12. Do you worry about, or do you think that we need to worry about a new Big 3 with Texas Tech, BYU, and company, along with obviously Utah, or another school maybe sneaks up in there, but specifically these 3 for now, since they seem to get the most national traction, they seem to get the most national exposure at the moment. Obviously they all have more, it seems to be, at least right for this past year, especially with Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just put them up there above everybody else even, but there's a lot of reasons to think that they could stay in the positions they're in and build off the momentum that they have right now.
Right. Yeah, there's certainly nothing indicating that this is a one-off kind of season for those schools, right? This is something that could be a trend, in a right direction for all 3 of them as far as, the publicity. You think about game day going even last week to Texas Tech for that big matchup. And I wouldn't say that we're there yet where it's just an overall, Big 3 kind of thing, but you could see it coming that way. Again, there's the longevity that you're speaking to, and the investment that these teams are putting into their programs is pretty significant. And this season, it's paying off. And I think, again, as you and I are both obviously Mountaineer fans and supporters, and we cover them. And although it's like, man, do we have a fear of these 3 schools kind of taking over and just dominating for years to come? I think, again, the example of Saturday's game, Texas Tech, BYU, like that was just good for the Big 12 overall. To have 2 teams like that going head-to-head and had playoff implications in a game in November. That's a really, really big deal. That's a cool thing. And I think it bodes well for the Big 12 as a whole, more so than it does just those 3 specific teams.
1,000% agreed. And that's another factor, really. You've got teams playing meaningful games in November. That puts them in a different light than everybody else, correct? Oh. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, you can't get around it. I imagine the Nielsen rating or whatever you want to call it's probably going to be out on that, if not today or tomorrow. It may already be out today. It's probably going to be a big number. Those are 2 really – Texas Tech is really fired up as a fan base right now. They already punch above their weight, to be honest. It's Texas anyway. So even the people who aren't Tech fans will watch because it's another team in Texas. But, so they're fired up. But BYU's got an enormous fan base. We know the LDS Church has 17 million people. So and not all of them are BYU fans, I'm sure, but there's a lot of BYU fans within that church and then the state of Utah, obviously. And then, Utah, same kind of boat, right? The Utah Utes fans have a brand that's been really good for a while now. And you start to wonder, who else in the Big 12 can punch with them, considering the estimates that are out on all these schools right now. Well, you look at Texas Tech, $28 million in roster compensation via obviously the cap / revenue sharing. So that's pretty wild because you only had 21 transfers, right? That's probably the second or third highest in college football. You know, Texas was more, and maybe Ohio State, but it's right there in that. I mean, anytime you're on a list with Texas or Ohio State, that's pretty insane. We know they front-loaded deals that were basically – there was the window, I think, before July where the cap kind of was – nobody knew what was going to happen. You could front-load a lot of money. And overall, they spent $55 million across all sports, which insane amount of money. Same thing with the BYU that spent – most people estimate – this is an estimate because – BYU money is private. Nobody really don't have to share it. But they do think that BYU spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $20.5 million. So you see the kind of money that these teams are spending. So we've talked – that's why Rich Rodriguez, you saw him say, to be competitive, we need up to the cap, whatever we're going to spend, whether that's 14, 16 million, whatever, plus 10 to 13 million. That's what we need if we're going to be competitive. That puts you in that $25 to $30 million range. And that's just the case. That's just where you got to be if you're going to compete in the Big 12. Texas Tech, after this season now, you can best damn believe they're going to up their ante. They're going to invest more. Once you get a taste, as long as there's money to be had, and these donors ain't going to quit making money either. So it's not like it's just a static amount of money they have, and once they stop giving it, or once they give so much, it's gone. No, they're probably measured in how much they can give. And if you've got 3 billionaires, you're never going to run out of money, much less 2. West Virginia has 1, right? So, I mean, even 1 billionaire could fund an entire program if really, really they wanted to.
Yeah.
And the thing is knowing you're contributing to that is a high. It's a high. Put yourself in somebody's shoes right now. Let's say you were the only real big donor.
Gladly. I'll put myself in their shoes.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Imagine if you paid all this money and you know directly or indirectly that you bought this national championship team and you could boast that to people.
Feels good, baby.
You know, that's a drug, man. So I would say Cody Campbell and people like that. I'm not saying that this is making them bad people. Obviously, I'm projecting a little bit onto them as to how they may or may not feel about it. But just saying in general, it would feel pretty good to fund a program or be partially responsible. Even Pat McAfee brings it up for West Virginia at times, right? So I think this is a situation where these programs have clear defined structure. They have clear defined, boundaries within the program where people know how and where to give. If you look at some of the stuff Utah's done, stuff BYU has done for their respective programs, as far as making it easy, clear, and a definitive way to be able to give for not only for the fan base, but just how they've raised money for these programs. It's a big deal. And it makes me wonder and worry if we're going to have a big 3 that's going to be tough to topple.
Yeah. Well, and with Texas Tech in particular, I'm thinking of them obviously because of just how unprecedented this is. Like, who would have thought that it was going to be a team like Texas Tech who gets that much support into their program? And obviously with these donors that you're speaking of, obviously their intent in giving that was for the present and future success of this program. That was their intent. But guess what? Like, that's what they're getting too, because it wasn't a guarantee. We've talked about that. It wasn't a guarantee that Texas Tech was going to have the season that they're having just because the money was there. But they are, and again, to your point, it's in what we've already said, it's not a one-off experience that they're having. This is something that can be pushed forward for years to come. Other teams around the Big 12 and in the country better be on notice. And I think, again, even this season, with the season they're putting together, I want to see what they can do in the playoff because they're that good. Yeah.
Hopefully they don't have a performance like they did against Arizona State in the playoff. You know what I mean? Because that Arizona State's got a talented roster,
Right.
and obviously Arizona State made to the playoff last year, but that was a shocker of a loss for me by them.
Yeah, it was an
Really good
outlier on
teams,
their year,
yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
Really good teams, lose all the time. Nick Saban had teams that lost the game here and there. Certainly,
Yep.
I think that they are in a situation where they're going to be more talented than everybody they go up against outside of, let's say, probably outside of Oregon, Ohio State. And I'm not saying that they would be more talented than them. It'd be really
Right.
even, right? But like you look at Oregon, you look at Ohio State, maybe a Penn State who's not going to be in. Penn State's got a top 5 talent roster as far as how much NIL they spend as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't always buy you. So here's the thing. With Texas Tech specifically, you spent as much as all these other programs, but they really bought can't miss guys. There's a reason. I think they brought in, was it 21? I have to go look back and see. It was either 15 or 20 guys is all they brought in, right? So that means it's a high volume, a high concentration of money on these kids. And it's like, let's pretend Shedeur Sanders had another year or something. You could probably spend $2 or $3 million on him and feel pretty good about your quarterback situation the next year, right? So that's the kind of players they invested in, were these can't miss guys.
Yeah.
There are those out there. It's
Right.
just that the good teams usually get them. So I'll be really interested to see what West Virginia's looks like. Obviously, Texas Tech and BYU and company going forward. Can West Virginia close in on that? Can other teams in the Big 12 close in on that? We're going to find out, because people have seen with their own eyes that there's an avenue, right?
Yeah.
To get into that upper stratosphere with the SEC and Big Ten. You don't have to be affiliated with those conferences anymore to succeed. You just have to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, that's exactly right. They went for quality. Texas Tech went for quality and what they were getting, whereas West Virginia, out of necessity, went for quantity because
Correct.
we absolutely had to
different
get
things.
guys to fill this roster. Yeah, completely different.
Okay, on the other side, guys, we've decided we're going to do a Big 12 power rank, and I've got a few surprises on there. We know who the big 3 are, but who comes after BYU, Texas Tech, and Utah? That's up next. All right, we're back. We got a rankings to do. I think you shared a graphic with me. So let's check it out. And Troy, thank you for this beautiful graphic.
Oh, it's
that you
pristine.
had
I made
to
it
put
in about
together
my
right before
third
the
grader.
show.
My third grade.
It was
brain.
literally, I was like, man, we need it. This is your idea, though, so I'm going to blame you for it, because I was just going to verbalize it until you said, no, we need to make one. So here we go.
Look at that. Beautiful.
My rank is Texas Tech 1, BYU 2, Utah 3, Cincinnati 4, Arizona State 5, Houston 6. I guess I'll explain a couple of these as we go. So obviously, Texas Tech is self-explanatory at number 1. BYU, I think, is deserving of the number 2 spot. You could put Utah there, and I wouldn't fight you too much. It's just the head-to-head. I give a lot of credence to that, even though it wasn't on a neutral field. It was at BYU. But at the same time, they still won the game. And, and look, you could say also both teams got blew out by Texas Tech. So what are you going to do, right? At the end of the day, this is where you're at with it. Cincinnati, I mean, look, their record is what it is, and I think they're playing really well, even though they do have a blemish. I think Arizona State is, even though their record isn't as good as some of the other teams, they scare me still. I guess maybe we're playing them next week as West Virginia. I think that they, well, here's the thing. They don't have their quarterback, right? So probably shouldn't have rated them this high, to be honest. But I do think they have a talent roster that's probably within that range. If they had their quarterback, it would be a really fair rank for them. Houston at number 6, TCU at number 7, Iowa State 8. I think that they're another team that hasn't lived up to expectations, but I still wouldn't want to have to play them. I think Arizona is a little bit of fool's gold, even though they played well this year. They're a much better team than they were last year at 9. I have Baylor at 10. I don't know what to expect from them from week to week. And yes, damn it, I have West Virginia at number 11. And I don't care who's got anything to say about it. I got the Mountaineers at number 11. We beat Houston, who's ranked last week. We beat Colorado, who talked all that smack in the pregame. Let me take this graphic off for a second because I got a couple things.
Get on your soapbox.
I got to get on. Where's my soapbox at? I'm going to go make a soapbox just to have for this show. But you got to get on my soapbox talks here. No, but, Deion Sanders before the game said it's not even a question cumulatively that Colorado has a more talent than West Virginia. Man, I went off on this yesterday in my show in the post game because I think this is the entire problem with Colorado right now. You're thinking way too much in talent and not enough fit. Figure out what your culture is and then implement it. Obviously, talent matters. Everybody knows that. But at the same time, if you're going to tell me that a guy like Eddie Vesterinen is available, who's a 3-technique nose guy that nobody in the Big 12 outside of us know about, who is an absolute animal there, yeah, he's probably not going to be an NFL guy. It'll be really close for him. He may be borderline. But is he a tough as nails MFer? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he fits West Virginia's culture, which is a more tougher mentality type culture. Point is Colorado, yeah, maybe you were more talented than West Virginia, but you wasn't tougher. We're moving on.
Tell him.
Did you have something to say on that?
Nope.
Okay. Kansas State 12, Kansas 13. I don't know, man. Maybe they could be higher. I mean, I'm not saying it's a perfect list, y'all. UCF at 14 because they beat us and I don't like them. Oklahoma State at 15, and then Colorado's at 16 because I don't like them now either. You go ahead and talk about yours, Troy.
Yeah, obviously similar up top, identical up top for the first few, and then I put Iowa State above TCU for the sole reason that they got that win yesterday over the Horned Frogs, and then West Virginia could not go 11. Obviously, like what they're doing, had to drop them back a tad, and matchups matter too, just based on the fact that I couldn't do it with us getting absolutely smacked by UCF and Kansas.
No.
Just couldn't put them above them.
We're better right
and
now.
Then we are better right now, I guess. Trending better, but this isn't a trending. Well, it kind of is. I don't know.
That's how I rated it. I rated it who I think is playing the best right now, personally.
Right.
I'm not a professional ranker or whatever you call it. I just made one for fun here. So, I mean, it's not like this thing's getting published.
Oh, it better not, because again, I threw this thing together in about 13 seconds, as you can see. But Oklahoma State, man,
they're probably really the dead last team, right?
Are they the new Kansas?
I don't know. I mean, they just had one bad year, but they fired their coach, and obviously you never know what's going to happen as a result of that. I mean, it could be a myriad of things.
Yeah.
It
could. I mean, that thing could go one direction or another.
I'll make the case that we had 2 bad coaching hires. Dana Holgorsen had success, but I think he wasn't a fit for West Virginia. And so when you have back-to-back coaching hires, you can go from where Oklahoma State was 2 years ago, or from West Virginia was in 2010 to where we are now as a program, which is a bottom feeder in the Big 12. It's just the facts. I mean, outside of 1 year under Neil Brown, we've been no more the middle of the pack. It's just a fact, man. I hate to admit it, don't like to admit it, wish I could say something different, but it's not the truth. The truth is we have
been ranked. Speaking of rankings, West Virginia has been ranked since 2018.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a real sad thing. So point is, though, Oklahoma State, if you make the wrong hire, absolutely you can become that, because it just takes one bad hire and all of a sudden your donors pull out. It's just a bad situation. One last point on this. Right now I'm dealing, as you guys know, I updated on Locked On West Virginia. West Virginia is currently recruiting the number 3 overall offensive lineman in the country, currently committed to Penn State. And he was telling me that he didn't grow up a West Virginia fan because Dana Holgorsen, who was the coach that preceded Rich Rod, although we had Bill Stewart for a short time. And he said that the Dana Holgorsen era at West Virginia ruined a lot of these. We wonder why, because we wondered lately, there's been a lot of legacy kids that didn't go to West Virginia. And I just wonder how many of them didn't come because they had no relationship. Because what happened was Dana Holgerson didn't welcome any former people back. None. Zilch. Nada. And now you look and see a guy like Kevin Brown, who was possibly the best offensive lineman in the country. I mean, anytime you're in the top three, you're in that conversation.
Yep.
And we're talking about a guy that's your 98 rated guy. I mean, he's like this far away from 5 stars. So, I just wonder, because he's obviously building a relationship with the staff now, and we're grateful for that. But, man, dude, one coach can kill a lot for you, especially if they don't get in the mix with the alumni and bring back former players, which are alumni. But you know what I'm saying, Troy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's coaching is important. The hire that you get can make or break. And, the stories of like Kurt Cignetti in Indiana, like as cool as that is and what he's been able to do, and it's not that often, right? You see something like that, a tremendous move for a program, and a huge difference, and not just for 1 year impacted, but a huge difference in multiple years that could be affected by a hire. It's crazy.
Yeah. Guys, really quick before we go to the next segment. So obviously we are new here over on YouTube. We've done really well. Our first few videos have done really, really, really well. And I want to thank you guys for that. You guys have all been very supportive. But we've gotten we made it to 200 subscribers. So we're averaging about 100 subscribers for video right now. That's pretty good. Once we get to 500, we're giving away $150. So that is going to happen. And the thing is on YouTube, you can open it up and you can see everybody that's subscribed, what date, whatever. So we can cut that thing off right at 500 if it goes beyond it. And we'll know exactly who it is. We're going to put them on a randomizer wheel. We're going to spin the wheel live. Whoever it lands on will pay you in real time via Cash App or PayPal. Or if you're not in the live, we'll get a hold of us later and we'll pay you that way. But point is, come over here and subscribe now if you can. We got about 100 watching. So if you don't mind, if you're over on X, it's youtube.com, then it's a / it's @ you got to use the @ sign, College Sports Insiders with an S 2026. College Sports Insiders 2026 with an @ sign in front of that. Come over here to the subscribe button. That automatically enters you in. Anybody that's over there in that chat right now that would come over here would be automatically entered for $150. And like I said, we'll give that out live. So just wanted to say that. Let's go to break really quick. We'll come right back. We'll just pause really quick, and then we'll jump into the subject Troy has for us.
All right, segment 3, transition into college basketball, and we're underway. There's been a few pretty big-time matchups already on the season across the landscape of college basketball. Saw the Tar Heels beat down Kansas a couple nights ago. Been a few other matchups. Indiana beat Marquette today, hung 100 on them, and a few other things going around college basketball. But I saw an article that I just wanted to bring up with you and get our thoughts on it before we wrap up this episode. This article is just Joe Lunardi, his thoughts just a couple days ago on at the start of the college basketball season on the top 5 conferences in college basketball, top to bottom, and how he ranks them. A couple interesting things here. And he said, given its history this century, the number 1 choice might surprise you in this ranking that he has on like college basketball conferences. So I'll go 5 to 1, and we'll just go through it real quick, and then we'll give our thoughts on it. So coming in at 5, according to Joe Lunardi, is the ACC. Obviously not a surprise based on what they've done over the last couple of seasons. Struggling. Obviously, Duke's a legit contender, and Louisville's doing some pretty crazy things with Pat Kelsey over there. They're pretty special what he's been able to do.
Absolutely.
All right. Number 4, he's got the Big East.
Yeah.
St. John's. I was big on them last year. They disappointed me in the tournament, ruined my bracket. But St. John's.
They're already disappointing this year.
Yeah.
Like Patino's already. He's already talking about how bad the defense played, and
gave up 100.
They got 100 hung on them, didn't they?
Yeah, 103 to 96. Alabama beat them.
Yeah.
So Alabama's back. They do what they do, getting buckets.
Listen, that dude's a good coach.
Yeah, he is. They're so fun to watch. They are so fun to watch. I'll just say for any sports bettors out there, take the over every Alabama game ever. Just take
Every
the
Nate
over.
Oates game, yeah.
That game they played College of Charleston when Kelsey was there a couple years ago in the tournament, and it was just run and gun. And like I forget what the line was set at, but they went way over it. It was like 200 points or something. It was nuts in the NCAA tournament. Anyway,
hindsight, really quick. I don't think
Yeah.
Kelsey would have been a good fit at West Virginia.
yeah,
He's just a little bit for me. And maybe I'll alienate some people here. He's got that little man energy to him, and he's like
he does.
every time I see him, he's always like, I don't know, man. Just
He
say
does.
it. He's got that going on. I don't think that would have worked at West Virginia. Ross Hodge works out well for us. He's a very self-confident,
Yeah.
very unassuming, kind of quietly goes about his business.
Yep.
You know, we have had people with bravado, but they're like 6'8", well 6'6", like Huggins was. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, Kelsey's a little different. He's a little different.
Yeah.
But he's getting the job done. I'll tell you what, he's fitting in Louisville.
He's killing it. I mean, listen, he's probably done a good job. I'm just making a joke.
All right, number 3, which may be the surprise to us here on talking a lot about Big 12 so far, is the Big 12 coming in at 3. Obviously, we know Houston, we know Arizona, they've impressed already. We know BYU, they've impressed already with a big win. But Kansas isn't Kansas anymore. You're not in Kansas anymore. They've struggled, obviously, last season, coming in preseason number 1 and then doing what they did to get the NCAA tournament. But I think they got bounced round 1. But they come in at number 3, followed by number 2, the SEC reigning champion Florida. Deep league. We've seen what they've done. We've already talked about Alabama, but they got some teams. He's projecting, Lenardi is, an 11 or 12 bid league for the SEC. Do you remember off the top of your head how many they got last year? Because it was a lot. I got to look.
The SEC?
Yeah.
Let
me see. There it is. Oh, yeah, that's right. 14.
Was it 14?
14. I don't know how many of those. A couple of those might have been in.
Yeah, it was 14.
And they had 7 teams make the Sweet 16.
It was Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas.
Who did you name?
Kentucky. Who else? Auburn, Florida. They won the national championship.
Florida. I don't know if you didn't say Florida.
Alabama. Missing a couple.
Yeah.
How many did I name?
I don't even know. I lost count. That's how many it is. It's ridiculous.
Missouri, maybe.
14. Big 10 got 8 last year. Big 12, 7. Should have been 8, just saying.
Tennessee was in. Rick Barnes. Did Texas A&M make it last year?
Probably. Let me look real quick. Verify what you got here. Let's see. Alabama. Yeah, A&M did. Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Missouri, Ole Miss. Put the beat down on North Carolina, who didn't deserve to be there. Talk about a soapbox. You don't want me to start there.
Oh, dude.
Mississippi State. We're not going to go there. We're not going to do it. We're going to be bold, and we're just going to move on. Mississippi State, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and A&M. Nuts. But
I had a lot of those. I don't know how many I got, but I had a lot of them.
You nailed it. But they're ranked 2 in Lenardi's preseason-ish prediction here. And number 1 is the Big 10. Yeah. Purdue, obviously know the story there. Nation's number 1 team coming in. And they got a game coming up in a week and a half with Memphis. I'm curious to see Memphis. Obviously, we know PJ Haggerty is in the Big 12 now, but we'll see what they do. Kansas State, PJ Haggerty, he had a 23-point, 11 assist game yesterday. Did Haggerty? He's so good. He makes a big difference. I think they had the number 1 portal class. I think Kansas State up there for sure in what they did. Hopefully, they're hoping to get back.
Yeah, they invested because this is the last year of that experiment. If it doesn't work out this year, I think they're going to change coaches.
Yeah, I think so too. They're banking on it based on what they did in the portal. So,
well, I mean, because they had a great first year, right?
Yeah.
They went all the way to the Final Four. Or is it Elite
Yep.
Eight?
Final Four.
Yeah. Malik Knowles.
Yep.
That was
Good.
he's a great point guard.
That was a fun
Division
team.
II kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you never know where you can pull somebody that'll change your program from.
Right.
We've already seen a couple off the mid-major teams we've played this year. There have been a couple guys I've been like, God dang, man, I wish we had known about him. The big we played today, the freshman that they have, it was really good. The lefty, he scored 23 against Houston.
Well, people have said it for years, even just the shift in like how separated like teams are as far as talent's concerned is shrinking. That's why we're seeing 16s beats 1s. That's why we're seeing upsets all across college basketball, because the shift in talent is shrinking, or the discrepancy, I should say, in talent is shrinking.
Right.
And I think it's great for the sport. I think it's absolutely great for the sport. But anyway, these 5 rankings here, his top 5, again, being the I lost the article, but it was the ACC at 5, followed by the Big East, Big 12, SEC, and Big 10. Your thoughts? I don't know how you put anyone above the SEC based on last year and based on what they got back, but
well, I'll just be honest with you, man. I don't believe any of this stuff really anymore because they cook the books so that they can have the SEC. I really believe that. I'll tell you a story, just real quick. So a player that I was talking to a few weeks ago told me that he was offered a 5th star to commit to a power program by rivals. So, and I put that on everything I love in this world. So you can't tell me that they don't cook the books. These teams are rated higher, but they cook the books all the way from recruiting, all the way up through the portal and everything in between. Now, obviously, there were a lot of really good teams in the SEC last year, and there have been good teams in the Big 12 and what have you. But I promise you that there wasn't 14 teams deserving in the SEC last year to get in. There may have been 10, but there wasn't 14. And that's just my feelings on the matter. The same way we were left out when 123 of 123 brackets on bracketmatrix.com had West Virginia in, and 13 or whatever it was had North Carolina in. It's something that had never happened in the history of the sport, ever. Had somebody had every bracket on Bracket Matrix, which is used by everybody, and not gotten in. And old Dusty, I don't know, man. I don't want to get on a soapbox again, but it's like, I get it. The SEC is probably deserving in the or in the preseason, sure, if you want to go there. But I still think the Big 12 has proven to be year in, year out. You can have it for 1 year, I guess, but let's see what the Big 12 does this year. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I am a little biased, but I do believe that when it comes to basketball, the Big 12 is invested as heavily as anybody else. The SEC is caught up because of money, much like the Big 12 is caught up in football because of money. So it does go both ways. But, yeah, I'm a little frustrated with the rank, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you got 3 teams in the top 10. You got BYU has the future number 1 pick in the NBA next year if all goes according to plan and their plan. And you got arguably the best team in the country in Houston, who just is as consistent as all get out. They're unbelievable what they've put together there over the last few seasons. Just sensational. And then you got JT Toppin and Texas Tech. Don't forget about them in the top 10 as well.
Right. I mean, look, I get it. Like, what SEC teams are in the top 25 right now? You obviously start with Florida, right?
Yep. You got Florida. You got Kentucky at 9.
And what basis is that off of, I wonder?
Well, that's the tough part.
Yeah, it's all preseason stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It's always hard. Yeah, if you see it in college football and college basketball every year, there's multiple teams. Look at Penn State football,
and I can say the same thing about some of the Big 12 teams too. Don't get me wrong. I want to be consistent. I'm just a little angry with how things went for us last year because it was like you're literally put it right in front of our faces now that that the name on the front of the jersey matters more than the name on the back when it comes to who you select.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're a player, obviously the name on the front matters more. But when you're selecting teams for something that's supposed to be non-biased, like what they say, he left the room. And I have a friend that one of my buddies that covers Locked On Utah. His dad is the conference commissioner of the Big Sky Conference.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the committee. So he got really defensive. Like we went at it. He got pretty defensive, which I understand. If my dad was on the committee to pick teams and somebody was criticizing our character a little bit, I wasn't criticizing his dad necessarily, but he was trying to say, look, the North Carolina athletic director stepped out. He didn't really have any say. And I said,
but he does.
You can have a presence without being present.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So it's come on, man. Like we all know it's like you ever had somebody talk, somebody was talking about you and you walk back in, it's really awkward.
Right.
I've been that same feeling.
I 100% blame you for my lack of sleep that I'm going to get tonight because I said we weren't going there. We weren't going there, and we did, and now I'm mad. But you're exactly right. He's not in the room, but he's there. He leads the freaking committee. What a joke that was. I haven't been this mad about that since March of this year, so thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Bubba Cunningham.
I was so happy to see them get blitzed by Ole Miss.
Yeah. Anyway. Listen, there were other travesties that day. It wasn't just us. There were other teams that didn't get in either, but we were by far. We were a national story, right?
Correct. By far.
I don't have my notes on that. I had so many notes on, like, it was. I didn't mean to. I got really mad, because when I'm really angry and I have facts, I can be a tough debate, right? So JT was like just making a quick point, and I just went in on JT, and he's like a friend of mine. But I was so mad, and it was the day after that we didn't get in. So I was like really going in on him. Everybody was like, because we were on a Big 12 squad show. So there was like 8 or 9 of us in there, probably 10. So everybody was looking at me like, calm down, man, because I was pissed.
Oh, my goodness.
He was just trying to pick up for his dad.
I was, writing at Hail WV. I remember that weekend I was just going, man. I was just writing so much. I pulled up a quote. If you want to relive it, since we're going there, we might as well. We're deep in this thing. John Rothstein, who's my favorite college basketball coverage man out there by far. The man
he loves college basketball.
Breathes, sleeps college basketball. He said on that, NCAA show, I just love everybody's support of West Virginia in that, because it's like, to your point, it was
rare
so
for
clear.
us to even have it.
It's so egregious that every single person that talked about it addressed it in our support. Rothstein said, if the criteria for the NCAA tournament in terms of getting an at-large bid is to beat other NCAA tournament teams if you are on the bubble, how in the world could North Carolina get an at-large bid over Indiana and over West Virginia? Jerry Palm said the committee missed on North Carolina. There's no case for them at all. In fact, I've been doing this a very long time, and no team I've ever dealt with had no conclusivity proven that they're not an NCAA tournament team that still made the field. It's not just the 1-12 record against Quad 1 teams. It's that none of those Quad 2 teams that they're giving them credit for are tournament teams either. Some of the Quad 1 losses are not tournament teams. Sorry.
Wow. That's wild, man.
1-12. 1-12. I have so I actually grew up in North Carolina. So I have all my friends are Tar Heel fans, and I was posting, going back with them, and after they lost to Ole Miss, because they were 1-12 going into the tournament, that was the story in Quad 1. They lost to Ole Miss, and I posted, hey, 1-13 after they lost, and one of my friends started coming at me well, West Virginia hasn't been to the Final Four since and they they made it to the national championship once. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? I'm talking about this year. You didn't belong in there. Suck it up. We did, and you got blitzed. So,
yep, that's basically it. That's how it works, isn't it?
All right. I can't do it.
I think I thought I had it pulled up. I was looking for the video where I was talking about that with JT, but I can't find it. Well, I mean, yeah, it'd be too hard for me to find. It's been like how long? How many? 9-10 months ago. So yeah, I had all these notes and everything that I had all these great things from that. I just can't remember them all right now. What were all the criteria that we had in our favor that day outside of the ranked wins? Well, obviously, we had the wins, but we also had the bracket matrix thing was obviously a big one.
Yeah,
what else was there?
We were in the wins, the performance against Quad One, strength of schedule compared to, I mean, North Carolina's in the ACC.
That's another thing. Yeah,
they play, obviously North Carolina plays a difficult non-conference schedule, but their best win, if I remember, it was against UCLA, or their best.
And also win. Where their conference champion was seeded, right? Their conference champion was seeded like really badly or something. Like basically they were saying, or maybe not the conference champion, but it was one of the best teams in the conference got seeded really low. Yeah, and I just remember making a point about like they didn't even respect your conference really, like you know, by the way, because the ACC had a really bad year.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad, right? And I found another quote, Wally Zerbiak. He said, "I can't."
Good old Wally.
Wally. He said, "How did North Carolina get in? 1-12 in Quad One. Metrics? What? Like really? Non-conference strength of schedule.
That was the other stat. 1-12 in Quad One. Yeah.
Non-conference strength of schedule. What does that mean? They lost every game in the non-conference. What does that mean?" This is like, I was quoting him as he was on the show. He said they were losing by 20, losing by 30. Then they got into conference play, and you think they're going to roll through the ACC. Well, there were 3 teams that rolled through the ACC, and North Carolina wasn't one of them.
Was not one of them. Flat out, Bob. We went a little long on this one, Troy.
A little long and a little off.
About that dreaded day, and then it wasn't even a week later, and Darren DeBreeze's. You want to go down that rabbit hole right now? I'm already fired up. I mean, we can go ahead and do it. No, I'll fight about it right now.
I can't handle it.
Oh my God! just think about
sweating.
That. Yeah, I mean, not only did we lose in the Big 12 tournament, which hurt us. You know, it was the perfect storm that old Bubba needed to happen for them to put North Carolina in. West Virginia lost their conference tournament, the Big 12 tournament game. But Darren DeVries chose not to ride on the team plane back with West Virginia from that. And I texted KJ Tenner. I said, "What is this? Why didn't he go back with you?" And he was like, he put this emoji. He was like, "That's how he moves, I guess."
Yeah.
Like, I was like, gosh, man. So I texted Sincere. I'm like, what is this? And he don't have nothing for him anymore. His words. Don't have anything for Darren DeVries now. So there's a reason he didn't go to Indiana. You don't think that he wouldn't have wanted Sincere, one of the best defenders in the country?
Yeah.
Promise you he would have wanted him.
Absolutely.
He can pretend like their fans pretend like they didn't want him after he didn't go.
Yeah.
It was really him and a Hansberry were like a package deal, you know.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Virginia Tech looked pretty good, didn't they? That freshman, holy cow, man, went absolutely bonkers.
Crazy.
So,
crazy. I know. It's weird. Well, that's weird with Hansberry there, even though he was only here a year. It feels like he was here longer. And then Sincere Harrison and Kirk Reese on the same team in Cincinnati's weird. That's nuts.
You know what's funny is I got invited on Chatterbox Sports after that, which is in Cincinnati. It's one of the bigger Cincinnati platforms because they do a lot of really good content. And they were bringing me on there to somehow cheer them up because they were like, so we just added Kirk Reese. Are we going to add all the Mountaineers? Like, you know, like they were just asking. They were like, because we didn't play very well, obviously. It's hard to believe that Kirk Reese still even has eligibility.
I know. He's got to be like pushing 26. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. He's an interesting one. I mean, he's one of those guys that when he's on it can really be a good player too, even at this late stage of his career. He's going to be retiring pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, Monty Hansberry, two double doubles at Virginia Tech, 17, 11.
Oh, there's no doubt that he was going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not shocked to hear that.
He was good.
Hansberry had a great sophomore year with us. So to think that he wasn't going to improve would be stupid. And have you seen him? Let me pull up a picture of him really quick.
He looked different.
Oh, God. Let's
Yep.
see this kid really quick. Hold on. I got a good one on him, too. I had it the other day. I was going to share it on X, and then I forgot.
Amani Hansberry didn't even play in that win that we had at Allen Fieldhouse. I was in the building, by the way, for West Virginia's first win at Allen Fieldhouse. Come on.
Really?
Mm-hmm. On my anniversary, because my wife is that amazing. She would go to a college basketball game in Lawrence, Kansas on our anniversary. And it was a history maker, baby.
History maker. Let me see here. I had it saved. I think I can pull it up again. All right. So at West Virginia last year, obviously he was pretty muscular. He had some muscles going on. But if you see him at Virginia Tech right now, he's added to the body. So I'm trying to find more pictures of him than. Yeah, here's one. I think that's him. Can't really tell, to be honest. Yeah, that's him. I'll share the screen. Oop. Well, I accidentally clicked on the wrong picture.
I can see a little bit, though. I can see.
Yeah. So, anyways, point is, there we go. There he is. You can tell he's put on some muscle.
Yeah.
He's already really skilled, so
Yes.
it's not a surprise. But here's a good image too. Like, he's definitely put it on some muscle, man, and you could tell that's why he wrote hungry. He's probably been eating.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have the X page shown. Here's the one I was trying to show.
Okay, I just saw the one where you're sitting down. Oh yeah, that one's better. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely put on the weight. So good for him. Rooting for him. Definitely not against him.
Definitely.
I don't root against many kids at all.
Yeah.
There might have been a minute where Jose Perez had me pretty angry. This is
just a minute.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Perez was, like, the first thing he did when he got to Morgantown was gave me his phone number, and then never answered it ever again.
Huh.
It was like the weirdest thing. He reached out to me and was like, asked me a couple questions, and then was like, call me anytime. And then I called him like 2 or 3 times over the course of the year he was there. Never answered. Never responded. Yeah. What a weird thing to do.
That is weird. Tucker DeVries had 27 against Marquette today.
I didn't even want to talk about it.
I know.
But I didn't even want to talk about it. Huh?
That's payback.
For what?
For North Carolina. I didn't want to talk about that.
Did North Carolina take $1,000 from you? I probably don't even need to go there. Honestly, I have to let it go, right? At some point. It's really hard on me because
I know.
I've talked about it many times at this point, but I was very fortunate for his uncles and everything they were really nice to me, man. And I really thought, and this is my naivete, I thought we were friends, and we weren't. It was not the case at all. They were just using me for, I'm not exactly sure what they needed me for, but obviously, he would drink a little bit, and he would call and tell me things, as I've said before.
Yeah.
And so, obviously we just kind of kept that thing going. And then whenever West Virginia would lose, he would see, this is his uncle, he would see this negativity online. He would always call me and we would talk about it. And I would say, no, I would always be protecting our fan base, like, why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? Why are they saying this about Darren? Why are they saying he's going to leave? Why are they saying this about Tucker? He's hurt, and blah, blah, blah. And it was always me trying to, just put salve on that because I feel like he was always so mad. But, he would call me every now and again and tell me things. And then the big one was before the Arizona game in November, he told me Tucker's there about his shoulder. That was the big one that I saved because I knew it was going to be news. I didn't think it was going to turn into what it turned into.
Right. Of course.
But obviously, we did it. We did one deal where he came on the show, and then we had another one that was, paid for. And then he went to Indiana. They were gone. My number got blocked. Like, it was, so I'd have deserved to be frustrated over that.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do? You make a big stink about it, and what? Like, it's not like I can just sue them. Like, I don't know. The hard part for me on that, and then I'll leave it alone because it is a touchy subject. I had a lot of people raised money for that. It wasn't just like it was all out of my pocket.
Right.
And how do you give back Joe Schmo's $5 that he put in a GoFundMe type situation, So I don't know.
Right. No, I hear you.
Speaking of money,
we did have 27 tonight, though.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. No, I mean, look, he's obviously a very talented player, and they have a very talented team. They'll probably be a top 4 seed when it's all said and done. I'm not stupid. Like they invested heavily, and they got a team. There's a lot of people that question the people. They got a lot of lower level players. They didn't go for just all big time D1 transfers necessarily, but I think Darren was able to pick the kids he wanted this time rather than just kind of having to, they had to get really creative to get what they got last year. You bring in Chester Frazier so that you could bring in Amani Hansberry, Sincere Harris, etc. So you didn't have to do that into the end of this year. You could just pick your pick of the litter. And then Tucker was already coming wholesale, so it didn't really matter there. Juwan Small was just maybe one of the most, to this point, you could probably say he's one of the most underrated portal players of all time for what he became for us, which could have been the Big 12 Player of the Year, by the way. And what he's doing in the league right now, which is insane for him not to really be highly sought after. Like, he had suitors, but it wasn't like he was a top 10 guy in the portal that people were talking about. Like, he was a nice pickup because he averaged like 12.
Yeah, he was a Big 12 guard with experience. That's how they viewed him.
Yeah, like a Joe Toussaint is who I it's funny. Like, I compare people to Joe Toussaint all the time, but because like Joe Toussaint is like, for me, Joe Toussaint was one of the more underrated people we ever picked up.
Yeah.
And then when he became at Texas Tech, he leveled up even.
He did.
He went there.
He did. The only thing I'll never forgive Joe Toussaint for was his I don't know if you even remember this. Like, he just at Kansas.
Where he missed
timeout. Whoa, yeah, it was. We had a chance to tie or take the win, and he just dribbled out the clock, and then
he couldn't hear.
Yeah, he barely got it off or didn't get it off, and it was just, I was like, no, what are you doing? Other than that, I liked him.
Yeah, I agree, John. Troy needs a Mountain Dew.
Ooh,
yeah, we need a Mountain Dew sponsorship is what we need on this channel.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I mean, would you drink it then?
Yeah, I would for that.
Guys, if you want to sponsor College Sports Insiders, to be truthfully honest, we are talking to people right now. Have a couple other people that I'm talking with about it, trying to make good choices. Obviously, we don't want to be in a situation where we're bogged down to anybody or beholden to anybody, but we would love to work out a good deal with somebody that if they, obviously we have other things to promote with besides this site. There are other things that we can do. So you can reach out to me or Troy. Our X accounts are at the bottom here. If you're interested in any kind of sponsorship, just hit us up. No matter what it is, what it's about, just hit us up. We can have a conversation, and we would love to have you. This will be a site that gets used probably every day. There'll be maybe a day here and there when we can't post, but it'll be a very active channel. And thank you guys so much for showing up deep for our third show.
Yeah.
To have almost 150 people watch. That's pretty good.
We'll take good, man. Absolutely. It's awesome.
So here's the next thing. Since we've had a lot of new people come in since I said it last, we are giving away $150, which I've said a couple times now, but I'll say it one more time because last time I said it, I think we had 70 people in here. So we're giving away $150. And the way that works is I'm going to put it in the chat here on YouTube, but can you go to the live on X that will be on? It should be on my page. And put our link underneath. There should be a way to chat there, and you can put the link in there. So it's going to be youtube.com/, then you hit @collegesportsinsiders.com. 2026. So it is a little bit long, but I mean, all you really have to remember is at collegesportsinsiders.com 20 or not forget the .com on the after insiders. I just messed it up, didn't I? It's youtube.com at College Sports Insiders 2026. So
there you go.
That's what it is.
And it's in the comments of the video on X right now.
Yeah. So the first 500 people will be giving $150 to that subscribe. So we'll be picking up somebody to give $150 to. Definitely not everybody. That would be insane. That would be like a big time giveaway there.
Yeah, we're gonna need some more sponsors.
Yeah, if you want to come sponsor that, come on in. We obviously what the mission statement on this channel is we just want to have open and honest and fun conversations about sports in college. It's college. We'll talk everything about it. Heck, there may be a women's basketball show at some point in time, or you never know. It's college, right? The main sports in college, football and basketball. Probably do baseball with West Virginia and other teams like that. I don't know if Troy will be involved there. But at the end of the day, he's a big basketball guy. He knows a lot about basketball. That's a lot to do with his wheelhouse. I like football a lot. Also love basketball. So, I think we can cover both pretty well.
Yeah.
I cover both as it is anyway. And, if this is something you feel like you could promote through or with, we would definitely appreciate it. And, just want to partner with people that, we're not necessarily going to be like a vulgar channel. We're not going to say a bunch of cussing or anything like that either. So, pretty clean product overall, and try to make something, this into something you'll be proud of. So, Troy, you got anything, man?
No, I second all that. It's pretty cool. Again, like you said, over 3 episodes to see how it's grown, and welcome everybody to College Sports Insiders, man. It's going to be fun. It's just the beginning.
So make sure you head over to our YouTube page and subscribe, please. Like this video. Share it out if you can. We would love to get them subscribers up to 500. That way we can begin to actually monetize the content and really start taking it to another level from there. YouTube won't monetize until you get to, I think, 500. Mm-hmm. It may be 1,000 now. I don't know. When I was doing it, it was 1,000, but that's been a couple of years ago now that I don't know if they changed it or not to 500. So
I've always heard 1,000. They
changed it to 500 at one point. They could have moved it back. I do know that they did change it to 500 at one point in time.
Mountaineer Moments on the way to 500 too. So if you want to go subscribe to that, Mountaineer Moments on YouTube and all the other platforms too, where you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and I'm also at Locked On West Virginia. So if you want to check me out over there, obviously we do Mountaineer only stuff there. We do. I do 2 shows a day and have for outside of I took a week off. I just needed a break. But outside of that, I had posted up until then over 400 days in a row, twice a day. And those are 30-minute shows. They're usually pretty well thought out. There's 3 topics usually. Sometimes there's a couple more. Just depends on what I need that day. But, really, really in-depth stuff. Obviously, this channel will be a much broader stroke. So it's going to give us time until we figure out what our niche is within all this, because, I would like to cover every single thing, but there's just going to be no way. So we're going to try to figure out what works for us here, and then we'll go with it. But thank you guys for being here, and hopefully you're just here to support us. And we'll definitely take any suggestions y'all have. So thank you so much for coming in, guys. And Troy, if you don't have anything else, I think this would be a good place to stop.
That's it, man. Thanks for being here, everybody.
All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Most likely we'll probably talk about something else then. Until then, though, we have to remind you this. Come be an insider at College Sports Insiders. We'll see you next time.